All right, it's past 3:30, so we'll open up the meeting. We have proof of quorum and proof of notice. I know the notices have been posted and we do have a quorum. So with that, we'll go on to approving the minutes of the January 9th meeting. Is there a motion?
I make a motion we approve the minutes. Instead. Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Everybody in favor of approving the minutes from the January 9th meeting signify saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right. This meeting, part of it is going to be video recorded so that we will have a presentation on YouTube. So we're going to move right into the PowerPoint presentation, and Mike Lean will be taking that over. He's the head of the Long Range Planning Committee. After that, there'll be discussion among the board, and a vote will be taken with the board to proceed with a vote of the membership. We'll talk about the Food and Beverage Committee, and then we'll take a short break so that the videographer can take his equipment down, and we'll proceed with the rest of the meeting at that point. All right? Okay, so I guess we're ready, Mike, for your presentation.
First of all, thank you, President Krzyzkowski and the members of the Master Board, and it's great to see so many of our members and owners here today. As Jim mentioned, I'm Mike Lean. I'm the chair of the Long Range Planning Committee. And to give you a little bit of background, what got us to this point, in 2013, the president of the Master Board at that time, Mike Finley, came and asked myself to take on the chairmanship of Long Range Planning and developing a master plan for the future of Royalwood. So that started in 2013. The first thing we did, of course, was to put together a committee. We put together a committee made up of members of each of the communities, and also we found as time went on, we had to add some people to that committee who were year-round residents, because we had mainly seasonal people who left, and we had work that continued through the summer. So I'd first like to introduce the committee that worked on this, been working on this for 4 years, and a lot of meetings and a lot of work. I think you're going to see some of that come out, all of it come out in the presentation today. So on the committee was Mike Finley, representing the Master Board in Andover. Mike, if you'd stand up. Linda Gillardi, representing the homeowners, and also a full-time year-round member, so she was added to the committee as a result. Alan Copeland. Alan, I saw her
right here.
Right there. Single-family homeowners. Sue Van Scandal. Sue is also my vice chair of the committee. Sue represents Amherst. We have Harold Bugarelli of Bloomfield. Harold's back over here. We have Will Rogers, who is on our committee. Will, are you here? Right there's Will over there, also in the corner. Fabian Bandoni of Cobblestone, back here, been a long-standing member of our committee. Rick Van Abley of Cranbrook. I saw Rick. Rick, if you'd stand up. Karen Tibbetts. Karen Tibbetts of Cranbrook. Rick, when he went off the board, went off the committee. Karen replaced him on the committee. Ryan Smith. Where's Ryan? Right there. Ryan is a Master Board representative, also from Amherst. Jim Krzyzkowski, our president. And unfortunately, one that couldn't be here today, who's recovering from surgery, is John Momberg. Amberley has been a very active and involved member, even from his stay now in Michigan. And he was replaced by Rick Kiala. If I get that name half. What is it? Kiala. I screw it up every time. From Amberley. And then myself from Andover. Thank you, everybody. The other one I want to introduce before we get started, who's been very instrumental and has worked side by side with the committee from the day we entered into a partnership with him and his firm, is Matthew Cray of MH Cray and Associates. He's our architect and our planner in this process. So he has been with us. He's the principal, he's the owner, and he's the largest architect here in Naples. If you look at all the major projects being done in town, he's been with us step by step. Matthew also did, and we kind of latched onto him from Countryside. Countryside went through the same process that we're going through and have gone through and are in the process of building at this time. So it's been we see what they do and we see if that's something we want to follow. So that starts us on the path. Today, as was mentioned earlier, our goal is to present to the Master Board our version, the Long Range Planning Committee's version, of the master plan that we're recommending. At the end of my presentation today, we as a committee are recommending this master plan to the Master Board. So it is their decision if it goes to you, the members, or not, or if we're sent back to the drawing board or whatever happens. But we put a lot of work and time into this, and I think we've been a very effective, efficient, and cost-effective group in doing this. A lot of time's been spent. So let's get started on our tour, or our vision for the future of Royalwood. This would be the proposed new front of the clubhouse facility. The clubhouse facility and the campus surrounding the facility was divided into two phases. The campus area surrounding this building was phase one of our planning project, and the clubhouse and any infused areas that directly relate to the clubhouse became part of phase two. So now, today, we are complete with phase one and phase two, and I'm very proud to say, 4 years ago, we were given a date as a committee to be done. This was the date, and the committee is on time. I'm very, very proud of that. The committee did a hell of a job. Next slide, Frank. After a 2-year process, we realized that one of the things we had to do, as we all know, it's no bit of brilliance on anybody's part, that we're land starved. So we had to look at land that was contiguous with this building, with this clubhouse facility. And the land that was available to us was the land principally off the back of the cart barn, the pro shop, and the parking lot. We were able to go after that land by asking for rezoning from Collier County. And in doing so, we had to exchange land. That land was zoned park/preserve, and we had to get it rezoned for usable land for us as a club to use. So what we did is we traded a couple of pieces of land. Our own land for our own land, if you will. Sounds kind of redundant. But if you take the land along number 10 Fairway, the wooded area, and if you take the little triangular piece of wooded land up here right by the exit, as you're going out on the new exit on Santa Barbara Road, we traded those two pieces of land, to allow us to have this land behind us rezoned. There's roughly about 0.98 acres that we were able to rezone for more usable land on our campus here around the clubhouse. So we traded the land along 10, the land over in the triangle area. They're still our land, but now they are designated park/preserve. Still our property, we gave up nothing, and we got something that we think is more workable and usable for us. Next slide, Frank. Now, what drove everything we did? This is the most important slide in the whole presentation. The one thing that drove everything the committee did was a community survey. In 2014, we did a community survey of all the owners to get their input. We received back 56% community surveys from the members. And from that 56%, or 470 out of 800 doors, we took the top 5 priorities of the owners. And those top 5 priorities were, in no particular order, clubhouse improvements with more card, meeting, and owner rooms. As you can see here today, in this facility, we're starved for space. I don't care where you look, card rooms, bar room, dance floor area, workout area, fitness area, meeting rooms, whatever you name, we're starved for space. And that became one of the priorities that the members also mentioned. Another thing they mentioned was enhanced practice facilities for golf, the golf net area. Now, a lot of people wanted us to come up with a driving range. We as a committee wanted a driving range. we don't have the land. We don't have the land, and there isn't land available here. We looked at anything that's contiguous with us, and there was no land. So what we did, and you'll see it in the plan, is we worked on improving that golf practice area, and I'll show you slides on that in a little bit. Another area that was critical in our development was increased parking spots, a safer bag drop area, and a safer parking lot. We had to find additional and make additional parking. So we've done that in the plan. We're going to show it to you in the master board here shortly. We've increased the safety in the lot. If anybody on any day comes up here and gets in this little corner by the pro shop, you see all the traffic going on. Pedestrians going to tennis, people going to the pool, people coming into the side door of the clubhouse, people going in and out of the pro shop, golf carts interacting with vehicles, golf carts interacting with pedestrians, very, very unsafe. So we went about solving those issues, and we think we've done a good job at that, and we'll show you that in a little bit. The next one was expanded wellness and physical therapy center. The committee refers to our present fitness facility as a fitness closet, and that's pretty much what it is a fitness closet. If you haven't been in there, I suggest you take a look at it sometime. It's an accident waiting for a place to happen, and if you get more than 6 or 7 people in there, you've got over congestion and problems and issues and space needs again. One thing I didn't mention there, and that's the physical therapy side of it. For those of you that do use it, you know that you see a lot of your friends in there working out who are elderly, who've had a knee replacement, a hip replacement, have had a heart attack, are suffering some kind of physical ailment with a physical therapist or a nurse, and they're in there working out. Now, if you can imagine in this crowded closet, having a person with a wheelchair, a physical therapist, a spouse, and the person that's injured, and everybody else is trying to work out at the same time. So we've took this into account in the new facility area as a physical therapy for our members. And the final one of the top 5 was added space for the pro shop, which would incorporate golf items, storage, some new added things like washer and dryer for towels on the golf carts, and the list goes on and on. So let's move on to the next slide. Now, I thought it important to talk about the PUD, or the Planned Unit Development. A lot of you might not be familiar with that, but in my previous life, I spent time as a police chief and as a acting or interim city manager. PUDs, if I can explain it most briefly, it's kind of like a constitutional agreement of we, Royalwood, with Collier County. A PUD basically identifies who we are and what we have here. That's significant. It's something we have to do. It's something we have to follow. All right? So it's like a constitutional agreement. Now, the PUD, Planned Unit Development, which was established in 1987, when this railwood was developed and started, states that our development includes tennis courts, swimming pool, golf course, and clubhouse. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about the campus up here surrounding the clubhouse. So those are things we have to have. We don't have a choice. We as members have to have those things around our clubhouse. Secondly, with the PUD, it's our obligation, our fiduciary responsibility, to maintain and or to replace these amenities aforesaid: tennis court, swimming pool, golf course, clubhouse. We've done a really good job here in Royalwood on our golf course. We as a committee have toured a number of the bundled communities surrounding Royalwood, and I will put, and I know our committee will put, our golf course against any other golf course, any bundled community surrounding us. We've done a good job, but you know what, people? We did a good job because we invested in it every year. We planned, we kept it up to date, we kept it current, we kept it beautiful, and we kept working at it. Not so, too, with these other things. Clubhouse, swimming pool, tennis courts. In fact, the last construction type of movement in this clubhouse campus area took place in 1998, a long time ago. Finally, Royalwood needs to keep up with the codes for existing infrastructure, as well as hurricane code updating and getting materials current with those standards. Frank? This is the current campus as you see it from the air. You see the clubhouse, the pro shop, the cart barn, the parking lot, the tennis courts, and the current swimming pool. This area, if you take about here to here to here, this area here is what we rezoned in our Collier County rezoning of land from park/preserve to usable space. Frank, next one. This now is a blueprint of the proposed new campus surrounding this building. This is phase 1 and phase 2. We've moved the entryway a little bit here to the south. We provided a median here with more parking to the front that's protected and out of, if you will, out of the lane of traffic. So somebody coming by is protected parking, getting in and getting out. We think that's significant and is something that the Health and Welfare Committee wanted. Expanded parking lot here of spaces. Now I'll go into all these individually. Here we have pickleball court, 2 of them. Here we have 2 tennis courts. Here we have a new fitness and wellness facility on this side of the building. On the left side of the building is the new pro shop. This is the cart barn area. The area right here is the walk-through out to the cart staging area, which is here. And this is the new bag drop. That's significant for us. That is where a lot of our planning started in this campus reorganization. The present bag drop is right here, where all that congestion was taking place. We knew we had to move it this direction to better control vehicular, pedestrian, and car traffic. No longer will the carts interplay with any of the parking lot or any of the pedestrian traffic. This is a secluded path for the carts right here. For our cart boys, bag boys, and staging, which is out here. The cart bag pickup or drop-off point is right there. Cart staging on here. This is a putting green, which is about the size of number 5 green, just for comparison. This is the practice net area, the new one, which has 10 stations. The existing one, I think, now has 4 or 5. Distance-wise, it expands the ability to hit the ball up to 150 feet, which now you probably have 20 feet or 15 feet. There is chipping area here with sand and the putting. We thought that was significant in our planning endeavors because at the present time, if you want to practice putting, you got to go out in front of the tennis court. Cart staging's back here, or you have to go over to number 10. If you want to do chipping, you have to go over to number 10 and 18 and practice there. So our goal as a committee was to make things as contiguous to recreational events as we could. Cart staging, putting, etc. The new cart path would go this way and would cross at the narrows versus as it presently does at a 4-lane area of traffic. We're reducing it to 2 lanes. Again, having been a police chief, you try and direct traffic. You try and minimize unsafe conditions. We feel by moving it to a 2-lane area here, it takes 2 lanes out of play and can be better marked on the pavement in a crosswalk or cart crossing pattern. This area right here is the cabana and the pool area. One of the things we learned when we went out and did the visitations at all of these other courses, some bigger, some smaller, some the same as us, the 2 areas where they were putting all their investments and where they recommended we, as a club, put our investments were in the area of fitness and health. That's where all the people buying today are looking for, fitness and health facilities. And the second area that was of great importance and where they were all doing or had done some upgrading in casual dining and drinking. Casual dining and drinking. So keep those 2 thoughts in your mind. Those are the trends. That's where things are going. That's where we're going. So this pool, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but this pool has a lot of casual dining available here, also with the new grill room. There's an addition right here, kind of an L-shaped addition, which is along the outside of the dance floor you're out there. and we'll talk about the inside of the building more as we go on. Frank, next one. Parking and lot safety. Currently we have 128 stalls. The new updated parking area allows for 162. So what we did, as you asked in the community survey, we increased the number of spaces. Safety, golf carts will stay behind the cart barn, not interacting with vehicles or with pedestrians. Drop bag is moved far to the end of the cart barn. The tennis and pickleball courts are at the end of the parking lot, thereby directing pedestrian traffic to those events away from other traffic areas like golf, like the clubhouse. So again, we're trying to direct people, direct traffic, so reducing some of that interplay and chance for more congestion and injury or problems. Golf, as I mentioned, the golf carts will be crossing on Railroad Boulevard, the singular lane portion over here, which we think is safer and better, right? The proposed campus, that's just a colored version of what I talked about earlier. Next one, Frank. Pickleball courts, we're in the national capital right now in Naples of pickleball. Down on Thomason Drive, they had the national pickleball champions, the first ever. We feel that's one of the biggest and fastest growing sports in the area, and that our membership wants and is looking forward to this. It's a little bit better on a more senior population, persons with knee problems, etc., and can't cover the space quite as well in tennis that you can in pickleball. And as we put up there, Railroad supports health and wellness focus now and in the future. Next slide. Tennis courts, we have 2 tennis courts. I know the Tennis Association would like to have 4. We had that request for 4. We don't have the space. We looked into trying finding space to come up with 4. We couldn't find it. So we will be having 2. Another request that we received from the Tennis Association and the Men's Traveling Tennis League, which, by the way, I think has been for 3 years in a row the traveling tennis champions for Naples. Our Royalwood has been. Pretty proud of that. This is something with the slides. It sometimes stops. Anyway, we're very excited about that. We went with their recommendation for hard true tennis courts. Hard true is much like a bocce ball surface, if you will, that you have in your neighborhoods. It's a semi style of clay base, and it is the current trend of all tennis in the Naples area. In fact, one of the things our men's traveling group have been told, we are the only one in the traveling group that has a carpet tennis court. I don't know if you know that. Our tennis courts out here have a carpet surface. Very unusual, very different, and we're the only one. And the men's traveling group were told, unless that's improved to Hartrue, they will not be allowed to play in the tennis traveling association group, because those people don't want to come here. They want to be on a standard base court. The North Center downtown, if you want to look at something that's a public course, has Hartrue base. So we're getting current with that. These are the 2 pickleball courts. Now, pickleball court usually is not Hartrue base. It is usually asphalt or concrete. These are the 2 tennis courts here with a little gathering shelter and a network area for tennis and pickleball players. Those are standard courts, and they back up to the Fitness and Wellness Center, and here's the parking lot. As I mentioned before, again, if you're playing tennis, your traffic will be this way. If you're playing golf, your pedestrian movement will be this way. So we've tried to control direction and movement. Okay? The Wellness and Pro Shop. The current fitness closet would be transferred to a safer wellness center and fitness equipment room. There will be about 2,850 square feet for wheelchairs, walkers, people to walk around, equipment, etc. There will also be, with that unit, an aerobics room, which is very common in all the developments we'll look at, which will be 1,260 square feet. So the combination of the 2 will be slightly over 4,000 square feet. We have issues right now going on here all the time for people demanding and commanding space, whether it be yoga groups, whether it be card meeting groups, whether it be heck, just for us to have a meeting. Some days we had to meet in the bar room and share some fairly confidential information with anybody coming in there to have cold beer from outside of our community. That wasn't so cool. But the new aerobics room will have room for 30 yoga mats. We'll have 2 dedicated physical therapy rooms. And we'll have a new pro shop that will be 1,444 square feet, 3 times larger than the current pro shop, providing more space for merchandise and storage. There also will be a second story to that pro shop area where they can store their inventory for the pro shop. Also, we've had input from you, the owners, that groups like the women's 18-hole group, when they have their events, need a place to keep, like say they have a banquet for the 18-holers, don't have a place to keep annually the things to put on their banquets. Same with the 9-hole women's group, the men's 18, etc. So we're going to have little storage cubicles for that in that second floor, also for Frank and his staff. We've also ran that whole process of the pro shop past Frank and the 3 pros, or the 2 pros, 3 pros, and got their concurrence and support for where we're headed with the pro shop. Their needs, their use, their flow, and the activity. So we're excited about that. Back up one, Frank, right there. This is, right here, is kind of the dividing line. This is the pro shop, pro's office, stairwell up, bathroom facilities. Here is physical therapy rooms. This is the fitness machine room, if you will, the aerobics room and storage room for the aerobics. This area right here is a little over 4,000 square feet. This area here is 1,444 square feet. Pro shop, you enter here, sign up, go out here, walk this way to the cart staging. There also will be in this new pro shop area, cart barn area, will be availability and access for washing machine and dryer, and the plan is to have fresh towels placed on your golf cart every time you go out to play. Next slide. This is what it would look like from the parking lot, and the bag drop is over here. We'll get closer on this. This roof line is going to change. We know that's not going to be the roof line, so this is the architect's rendition of it. But we found a way to save some money there, so we'll be changing the roof line. But entrance to the fitness area, entrance to the pro shop. This is the walkway. If you just come off the parking lot and you want to walk through here to get to the cart barn, or cart staging area, you walk through this walkway. And if you look right here, you'll see like a parapet wall. There'll be a wall there separating carts from we the people walking. Next slide. The practice area, cart staging and cart traffic. The practice golf area will allow up to 10 golfers to practice. There'll be the chipping area, as I talked about earlier, putting green to add to this practice area for you. Now this is one you may not be too well aware of, but you should learn about this. The cart barn will be reconfigured. Right now we can store about 390 bags. About 390 bags. Frank, according to what he tells me, we are having requests for bag storage. It's about 425 bags a year at this time. 425. So we can't supply right now bag storage for our members. And our population is changing. With newer buyers, younger buyers, that demand is going up. It's also a revenue source for we, the owners, for Railwood. So right here is a chance for us to enhance that bag storage and meet today and into the future bag storage needs that we can't do now. And I mentioned washer and dryer, towels will be provided with golf carts. That's redundant. This is the putting green and the golf cart staging area. This is the present cart barn. This is the new walkthrough where you will come out. Right about in here, you'll come out of the pro shop, and there's the parking lot out there. You walk through here and you come out to this area again. Separation from vehicular, cart traffic, etc. That, as I mentioned earlier, is equal to number 5 green in size in comparison. Frank, next slide. This is the golf practice net area. It's not a very good picture of it. This is not necessarily over the golf netting at this. You'll be able to walk right in there. Go ahead, Frank. As you can see here, this shows it a little better. These are the 10 stalls where you can practice your hitting the ball and driving the ball, etc. Here's the putting green, cart staging. Everything's nice and convenient for you. Here's the chipping area with the sand, etc. So we think that's very convenient. Another nice feature is right here. You can walk up, a little bit of a stairway there. You can park your carts right here, and there's like a sandwich bar, if you will. You can get a burger, hot dog, soda, beer, pizza, whatever you want. It can be either taken or picked up for your golf or in your socializing in the casual dining area by the pool. Next slide. I'm going to turn it over at this point to Kyle Kenny, our general manager. We're going to divide this presentation into 3 parts. So Kyle, you take it from here. Kyle has an extensive background in restaurant and bar management and resort gathering areas, so we'll take it from there.
Thank you. The pool area, as you, I'll just go through the notes. The pool area will have access to refreshments. In the back of the kitchen, we'll put in a 19th hole, a snack bar window that you can come on up to from the pool area. Or for the golfers, anybody who basically is on campus, it will be your typical 19th hole menu. We'll be able to come on up and get something to eat either on the go or while you're down by the pool. Real important feature with the pool in that effort. So what we did is we put in a beach entry, and basically that allows us to be ADA compliant with the beach entry, so we don't have to go ahead and put in the lift. Which we would have to do in the pool area if we didn't do the beach entry. So it provides for safer access all the way through. The pool area does include cabana. Obviously, we have to house all of the pool equipment, et cetera, and restrooms as far as there. Excuse me. The one thing I like about the pool area itself is that a lot of people have said we're probably not going to get a lot of pool use. And I'm not necessarily looking at the pool area for use as much as what that's going to do to that end of the building for the view in the grill room and the type of functions that we can now have outdoors as well. You could have Sunday barbecues, the club could be hosting Sunday barbecues, things of that nature outside. Next one, right? So the grill room, what we're having on the grill room, which is going to be back in here on the dance floor area, with a large patio that's put in. We're going to have sliding doors. They're proposing to have sliding doors so that on any given day we can go ahead and have the doors open, so you literally are sitting out on the patio in the beautiful Naples weather. And the reason why we have them on the sliding doors, the door concept is so in the summertime, when obviously nobody wants to be outside because it's too hot, those can be closed and enjoyed. So we'd be taking a look at roughly about 120 seating in the grill room, which we're calling the grill room. The bar will be a square bar with approximately 34 seats. So, and that's where I mentioned on the movable walls. It's a new feature. They're down on Fifth Avenue as well, in a lot of operations and at clubs as well. And then obviously we'd be updating to new sound and video equipment as well. So here we would have, there would be the window, walk-up window would be right there, and then it would be in these very areas right off in the grill room where we could be hosting functions, barbecues, and things like that for all members to enjoy. Right. Another view of this particular area. Here's the grill room, okay, and here you can see the outdoor patio, okay. And of course, as much as there's outdoor patio for dining, obviously there's indoor dining that would be working around the bar. Right. This is just another example. As you can see, imagine this is a walk-up window. As Mike had said, carts can go ahead and park, walk up there for getting something on the turn, as well as if we decided to go ahead and do service. and do waiter service out in the pool area as well. Just some concepts and some thoughts. Okay, so here is the dining room, the clubhouse as we know it. So just to give you a focus, here is the current lounge right here. So what we are proposing, Long Range Planning Committee, is that this would now be converted into member use. Okay, so this could be used for meetings, other meeting space, cards, etc., etc. Here is the current existing card room as well. Here is the other card room. So we're not necessarily asking for anything different in that space. Here is the library. The lobby area basically stays the same. Debbie and I, here's our offices, restaurant. The bathrooms go ahead and be renovated and updated. Heading into the dining room, you can see how the wall, there'd be work done here, so this would basically square this off. So this portion of this would be gone. You'd have one square room in here. We're talking seating in here for about 190 in the dining room. Currently, right now, they have the dance floor would be in that location. I propose that we would do a portable dance floor versus a permanent dance floor, so that depending upon what venue, what entertainment we're having, and what event might be happening, we can always move the dance floor around in various areas within the club. Back into here is the fitness center. This would now become another meeting room at this point. We're proposing that it becomes a meeting room. Back into here, behind the kitchen, currently right now, we are proposing to put the walk-in coolers and freezers back into this area. Right now, this area here is where all the air conditioning units are. They're on the ground level. Those would be put up onto a roof structure so that we can create this space here for walk-in coolers and freezers. Currently, right now, that is looked at as a storage area, food and beverage storage area. We would also add 2 bathrooms so that for those dining in the grill room, you would have men's and ladies access for restrooms right now. There already currently currently is a restroom, and that's for the staff. But that would no longer be the case. We would go ahead and convert and put in the new bathrooms as well. Obviously, they'd all be renovated. So here is the bar right here. That would be seating 34, and then here is the outdoor portion of the patio. Okay, and this would be basically the indoor on the patio space. So that's basically what we're taking a look at and what's being recommended. Right. This is obviously a view somewhat of the grill room, of what you could expect in the event that the project passes, from a member's perspective, looking out in the pool area. What I like about that is it really does an enhanced view, especially in the evenings, as you can imagine when there's landscape lighting and all those types of things. You're looking out there in the evening. Just another shot of that. So as I mentioned before, in the dining room, seating for roughly about 200 movable wall partitions would allow for overflow space between the grill and the dining rooms. And then, as I mentioned before, portable dance floor, so that there's more flexibility. A lot of clubs now, they're doing portable dance floors. We wouldn't put something in permanent. Right? Okay, and here is, as I mentioned before, we have the current fitness closet back there. That would turn into member space. The current bar and lounge would turn into member space for multi-functions. And then currently, right now, we are proposing, at one point very early in the process, we thought that we were going to have to take over the pro shop. There was talk possibly of my office and Debbie's office moving over into the pro shop very early on, the long-range planning concept. And frankly, I had said to the long-range planning committee that I'd rather be in the clubhouse. I don't want to be over into another building. It just makes it too difficult. That's not where the general manager should be. He's tucked away in some secondary building somewhere. We need to be right here in the club. Next. So obviously, as part of what is being proposed by the Long Range Planning Committee is basically the renovation of the expansion of the dance floor area. Kitchen storage is what I mentioned before. is where the current air handlers are out in the back. Those air handlers will be relocated to the roof. Obviously, the kitchen storage area will serve as delivery access for the kitchen. Here's the really important part back here. So what we're proposing for the delivery for the back of the parking lot is the elevation of that will still stay up high, okay? And what would happen is a wall would come out, a wall would be built in there, and that's where obviously the dumpsters would go, because you very well know the dumpsters are basically hanging out in the parking lot. And then for the sand mixture, which has to go in the carts, that will all be there. So what we're taking a look at on that is truly being a real loading dock area hidden away, okay? The big question is whether or not we would continue to allow access down that hallway, okay, to go to the back. So those are just some minor things that we need to work out and decide whether or not that's important, if that's important for us. So Frank is pulling up our last slide as far as my presentation is the infrastructure hurricane code compliance. You heard Mike talk about it a little bit earlier. You know, because the club hasn't had any renovations, all of the windows and doors here at the club are not hurricane proof. They're not up to code whatsoever. So that would all be addressed during the renovation process as well. Obviously, new air handling systems would be put in, and then of course, as you very well know, the pool area as it exists now in its current location, that would be demolished for the space for the practice areas and all the way through. So that's the last of my presentation. I'll turn it over to Ryan Smith for financials.
Okay, the project for the master plan is $6 million. We have $600,000 in contingency, so our projected plan cost is $6,600,000. Our plan for financing the project, we will use $1.7 million from capital reserves. Some of this reserves are things for projects that would be completed, like bathroom renovation. The other monies we would borrow from the reserve, because that money basically is free for us versus borrowing from the bank. So our plan is to take $1.7 million out of reserves. We would have no problem in meeting the other things that we have to do as part of the reserve budget. So the grand total of finance would be $4.9 million. That works out to be about $708,000 per year, or $59 per. What did I say? $708, $59 a month. Jim has appointed a committee of Dennis, John, myself, and Fred Wishner to work with Kyle on financing operations. We have met with our bank to talk with them about borrowing money, and assuming that we pass this today, we have some meetings scheduled with a couple other banks. They are very anxious to loan us money. There's a number of options that we are looking at that would allow us to minimize the amount of money that we have to borrow. It's kind of a cash flow item, but we're pretty sure that there's no reason why we can't keep to $59 a month or less, and that would include repaying the money that we have to borrow, that we're borrowing from reserves.
That's 10 years.
Now, we'll continue on from there. I have something I always like to throw in at this point. And for those of you who are ambassadors for this program, please don't answer this question. Those that aren't ambassadors are the ones I'm looking for this answer. Can anybody tell me in here, without looking, keep your eyes on me, without looking, how many bar stools exist in the Railwood bar room at this time?
8.
That's correct. There are 8 bar stools. Now just with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, with that in mind, think about this for a minute. That's 1 bar stool for every 100 front doors in Railwood. 1 bar stool for every 100 front doors. Now, if you take that at 1 to 2 persons per building, you do the math. If you wonder if some changes need to occur and why we as long-range planning are excited about a bar that instead of facing a wall, faces out to the beautiful lake and fountain in front of us, and the beautiful frontage of private family residences in Amherst with some lights glowing, and 34 people can be seated at that bar in a square with the bartender in the middle, who will be looking at you instead of looking at a wall to prepare your product. I think that's a pretty good start of thinking about where we need to go here. And if you question yourself, does change need to occur? We think it does. Next slide. We think it's time to make an investment in the community now, and now forward. We think delaying would only add to construction costs and interest rates, material and wages. Now's a good time to do this project. Bank interest rates are currently very competitive, as Ryan said. Banks want to do business with us now. We have a good credit rating. We're very sound financially. We've been a very value-based community, and we can be a value-based community forward. I use value-based for a reason, because when we had our ambassador meeting, I had one of the people come up to me after the ambassador presentation, and they said to me, you know, the amount of $59 a month is cheap. Now that's an interpretation. I said, why do you say that? They said, well, right now, we belong, my wife and I, not me, but this couple, the two of them are members at the YMCA on Pine Ridge Road. YMCA, not a fancy health club, YMCA. Their combined monthly payment to belong there is $75 a month. So for them, I was pretty interested in hearing that, because for them, they said at $59 a month, we can have a fitness facility here that meets that or exceeds that, plus everything else. So now we've talked about a fitness facility, a wellness facility, and a bar, and a grill room. It's starting to stack up as a pretty good endeavor, we think. Through this survey, we heard your concerns and needs. We've worked darn hard to address them, and I think if you go back to that original 5, we've hit every one of them. We've tackled the problem. The toughest one for us that has been difficult to meet all the needs was the golf practice area. We just don't have the land, but we did the best we could. We doubled it, we tripled it in distance or better, expanded it, so we did listen to you. We think for the additional $7,080 per year in fees over 10 years, or $708 a year, or $59 a month, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, and we are meeting in a very cost-effective way what you requested in your 2014 survey results. I look at this and next slide, Frank. I look at this and I say, how many opportunities are we going to get at this? My wife and I have been here 15 years. We've owned the same condo, and in that 15 years, my wife has remodeled. Sometimes we're on our 3rd generation of things, and I see some of my wife's friends out there smiling. Three different parts of our condo have been remodeled 3 times already in 15 years. I haven't seen that in this building in my 15 years here. I haven't seen that in our campus here. I've seen some paint, I've seen some carpeting, I've seen some drapes, I've seen some wall covers, all nice. But some current updating is needed. And we think it's time to share that vision that we have in a cost-effective way for the future of Redwood. Here's the process and the next steps from here. If the master board today approves this master plan to go to a vote, and that's what they would be doing, is simply approving that this concept would go to the vote of you, the members. The voting process is scheduled for basically the middle to the last week in March. Okay? A quorum is required in that vote. We must have at least 240 votes to consider that, 50 plus 1 vote to pass the master plan to proceed on. Following that, a brochure of this plan and proxy will be hand-delivered or mailed to you as members and owners by March of this year. Next slide. If it's approved by you, the members, the master plan. Civil engineering and architecture will commence immediately. Following that, it is anticipated that in early 2018 the project will commence. The golf course will remain open through construction, and the clubhouse renovations will begin in April of 2018, closing the clubhouse from April through October of 2018. But the golf will remain open and revenues keep coming. That's it. With that, on behalf of long-range planning, I, as the chair, recommend this master plan, as we promised, to you, the master board, for consideration by the membership at this time.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks to all of the long-range planners.
I make a motion that we approve the Royalwood Long-Range Planning Committee plan and present it to the membership for vote.
Second.
Okay, with that, we'll start on the end. Dennis, your comments, questions, or anything, the architect's here, Mike's here, whatever, if you have anything you wanted to bring up.
I just think that this is a great time to be doing this. I think if we remain stagnant, our real estate values in our communities will either stay the same or maybe even go down. I think this is only going to help you, the value of your unit for resale down the road as well, and to remain competitive with other places in the neighborhood. So I think it's a great idea.
Ron?
Thank you. I agree. I know that everybody has an individual opinion. I guess I look at this as we are a group, and I think for the benefit of all members here that this is an opportunity to do something that has not been done for a long time. And I think also into the future, I think it's going to benefit all Royalwood residents. Just I guess keep an open mind, see what we can do, and I'm certainly all for this.
Pete?
Coming from the safety committee, I'm very impressed with the way the campus is laid out. The flow of traffic is very nice. It avoids any congestion that we now see, and the way that the carts are staged, and the way the tennis courts are away, and even the loading dock facility will have more space for deliveries. Right now, you can see it when the trucks are backed up and you have carts coming in. It's really a mess. So I'm very impressed with what the planning committee did with this campus, and from a safety point of view, it's very unique and very impressive.
John?
Yeah, I think this planning committee has done a great job addressing all the issues that were identified, and I think they've come up with very relevant solutions to everybody's concerns. And what I've seen today, it looks like we're going to bring us into the next century with facilities design and all the amenities that go with it. So thanks for this nice job.
Mike?
I definitely, as a member of the Long Range Planning Committee, recommend this entire proposal and master plan to all of our members. I think it's well thought out, well laid out. Everything about it is positive. I did hear somebody requesting that maybe we should have a committee of members to point out the cons. Well, just remember that we created the Long Range Planning Committee to look for positive things to do to improve our environment. And of course, they put so much time and effort into it that they are positive about it. And I'm glad that they are. And I thank every one of them for their participation. For you, the members, I would like to at least attempt to clarify the cost for this project is $708 per year for 10 years. If during that 10-year period you leave your unit, sell your unit, the remaining of obligation goes to the new buyer or inhabitant of what is currently your unit. You are not tied in for this entire amount of money. You're not being hit with a special assessment all at one time. Everything has been worked on with an idea to making this as easy as possible for all of our members.
Ryan?
As Mike said, it was a blast being on the Long Range Planning Committee and working with Mike and everybody on that, Mike Lane. I think he did a great job. I think it's a great opportunity for us to get into the future, look into the future, and make the clubhouse in this area a key part of our campus rather than just the golf course. So I really support it. I think it's great for all of us.
All right, like I said, this is just for a vote for the master board to take this to a vote of the membership. If that passes, then there will be meetings scheduled for all the individual condo associations and the single-family homeowners in the next 3 Mondays. You will work with your board presidents and get the word out, but everybody will be able to attend a meeting for your condo association or board with your board and the single-family homeowners, and you will be able to ask questions. I know the long-range planning will be there. I believe the architect will be there to answer questions. And so with that, I'd like to proceed with the vote. All those in favor of the motion to take this to a vote of the membership with the long-range planning proposals signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. There's one more thing I should say. According to your concerns, there has been a lot of concerns about the food and beverage operation at Royalwood. And I'm going to announce right now the committee for the food, present and future food and beverage operation of Royalwood. And that committee is Dennis Fury from the board, Ron Smith from the board, and John Ellis Andrello from the board. Arnie Warner, who is from Andover, Ed Pacheco from the single-family homeowners, Tom Ryan from Amberley, and Jerry Damiano from Cranbrook. That'll be the committee for the food and beverage operation, and they'll be meeting. I'm going to turn it over to Kyle now, and he'll give you a little bit of foresight into what that committee will be looking for.
Thank you very much. The goal of this committee is going to be able to come back and make a long-term recommendation to this board of directors on the food and beverage operations. And what do I mean by the food and beverage operations? That's something, as part of this discussion and part of this work I'll be doing with the committee is whether or not we want to take the food and beverage operations in-house. And we manage them, we own them. After the renovation of this building and we have the ribbon cutting ceremony, do you as the members want to come on in and you control your own destiny as it relates to food and beverage? Because currently with a vendor, that's not the case.
Can you get a little closer to the mic? That's it.
So that'll be one of the biggest goals of the committee. As you very well know, I've been in club management for a number of years. My background is food and beverage. I have my degree in hotel restaurant administration. This is the first club that I've ever worked at where you had an outside vendor. There's only one other out in Naples. They let go of their vendor last year, and I remember when I was having conversations with Alan, the general manager there, he says, geez, I gotta try and run out and find somebody who thinks he can make a buck doing this thing, working for a private club, which we're a not-for-profit, that's what the clubs are, right? We're a not-for-profit, and then find somebody who can come in and make a profit operating in a not-for-profit. So the beauty of that is that we would control our own destiny. So If you're upset with something that would be occurring, guess what? You come see me, okay? The board approves the budget. I turn around to the board and I say, okay, board, what food cost do you want us to operate under? What beverage costs? All of that type of stuff is all approved to the finance committee, and then we run the business plan off of that. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of different things that we could be doing as it relates to our food beverage operation, and I look forward to working with the committee. So thank you very much.
All right, with that, we're going to take a 5 or 10 minute break. We do have other stuff on the agenda, but we'll take a break so that the video equipment will be taken down, and we'll carry on from there. Thank you.